Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up? How y'all doing? Welcome back to another week of Just a Fan Podcast.
We are live.
We live, baby.
Hey,
DeMario, you better be practicing.
Keep practicing.
Next Thursday should be the first game of the regular season. Live from Kansas City. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens, followed by Friday Night Football, live from Brazil. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Green Bay Packers. Okay. So NFL football is back. Yesterday was the deadline for teams reducing their rosters from 90 to 53. Today, players got added onto a practice squad, or they got claimed from one team to another. So it's a lot of moving parts. A couple of trades, a big contract, and some starters being named at quarterback. Let's dig into it. Let's talk about this. Let's introduce the guys first. Coach Williams here, the NFL Encyclopedia. To my left, Trish TV, the quarterback that runs the show. And trust me, he got big plans for us next year. Down below, panel 316, the good guy with the black hat, he just says it's just 53 now. And he ain't lying. It's just 53 players on the roster, and teams are filling out their practice squad. And like I said, now it's time to play football. So let's go. Let's get into all this. It's a lot to cover. Let's cover this. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin came out today and said that they have announced Russell Wilson as the starter over Justin Fields. It was actually true competition, and it went through all three preseason games to get this going. So, to make this announcement, I should say. So, how do we feel about Russell Wilson being named a starter over Justin Fields, and should this really have been a competition? Either one of y'all can start. Doesn't bother me. Flip a coin. Do it.
I'll start. Since hey.
Oh Lord, paper rock scissors. I like that. This is terrible.
All right, go ahead. You got it.
So first of all, that's like deciding between recycled corrugated cardboard and recycled balled up newspaper. That's in my opinion. It's like, and I'm gonna Tristan gonna get mad at me because I'm gonna steal a line that he said when we were in the green room talking. If Mike Tomlin can get 10 wins out of this, hell, if he can get 9, he need a gold jacket. He don't even need to retire. Cause I went to bat for Russell Wilson last season. I was like, well, maybe he got a little bit left in the tank. I was wrong. I was unequivocally wrong. Okay. And Justin Fields, he got a long way to go before he a hot mess. So it's, when they got you as a quarterback on the Madden commercial, okay. Oh, what up, Kenny? When they got you on the Madden commercial returning kicks for the Madden video game, they saying you ain't a quarterback, son. That's what they saying. That's like nonverbal dragging right there. So, that's probably why, as Steelers fans, y'all just gonna have to be mad. But y'all know what it is. Come on, man. Y'all done had some great quarterbacks in your time. You know that this ain't the time now. And when I found out that Russell Wilson was gonna be the starter, I was just looking like, for real? Because as bad as I think Justin Fields is, as overrated as I think he is, he's still young, so that he still has something to prove. Russell Wilson is on his last leg of his career, and I would just, it's like six in one hand, half a dozen on the other. It's like that's how I feel about the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh. Go ahead, Tristan.
So yeah, and I'm gonna get Eric because he stole my thunder with that line, but it's fine, it's fine. But
You need a gold jacket.
but no, seriously, like I wasn't surprised when it was announced. But what I will say is that I'm surprised that it was such a hard decision to make because I think when the signing happened with these two, I think everybody's general consensus was, oh, okay, Russell's going to be the starter. It'll give Justin time to actually sit after the drama he dealt with in Chicago. He can sit, he can learn, he can be groomed
Right.
to eventually be the starter down the line. The fact that it was an actual competition for the preseason, like legitimate competition, it says a whole lot more to me about Russell than it does with Justin Fields because I expect Justin Fields to sit and learn and grow. But Russell Wilson should have had this in the bag. We're not even asking you to be Seattle Russ with this roster. You're not asking to
How
be
can you?
young. Yeah, I mean, like you got what you got. You got George Pickens. You got quality. You got a quality tight end. I mean, it seemed like they just groom wide receivers. I saw one. I think it was a rookie that they got that looked sharp in the preseason. It's like they just know how to pick wide receivers. You got offensive line. You still got Najee Harris, and you got Cordero Patterson. It's going to take some of those touches so Najee ain't going to throw the rock so many times. So you got pieces. Then you got that defense. T.J. Watt coming back healthy. You got Minkle Fitzpatrick in the back. You got Cam Hayward in the middle.
Yep.
You got a solid squad.
Yes.
So all you got to do is just manage the game, and then I will say this though. We also got to remember who's there as the OC because I did think this was a mistake. It's Arthur Smith. You saw what he did in Atlanta. You had Kyle Pitts. You had Drake London,
and Robinson.
Bijan Robinson. So I mean, Arthur Smith is the OC. So again, are we looking? I'm going to be paying attention to the Steelers close as far as the play because I gotta be able to look at it and identify: is it Russell decline or is it Arthur Smith incompetence? So that's my take on it. If I'm a piggyback off what Eric said, even though it was my line. If Mike Tomlin,
It was Tristan's line. It was.
If Mike Tomlin can scratch 10 wins out of this squad, yeah, I retire for a year. You just give him the gold jacket, let him wear it on the side.
Well, I think Russell Wilson is declining, and I think Russell Wilson has declined more than I thought.
I don't know if it's that much more. I just don't know. Definitely did decline, no question. But such a precipitous drop like that, I don't know.
Now, my question, because you did bring up Arthur Smith, and I think before he was the head coach in Atlanta, I think he was the OC in Tennessee when Derrick Henry was, like really, really in his big prime. So
Yeah.
So was Derrick Henry not covering carrying is the word I'm looking for Arthur Smith, or did Arthur Smith was just overwhelmed in Atlanta because he was the head coach, and so he had to worry about offense, defense, and special teams, and he should have just been the offensive coordinator. I know what you're saying about Atlanta and what happened with those first round players, at the skill position and not working out, unfortunately for them. But maybe him focusing more on just being an offensive coordinator might do him wonders.
So Brandon, you know I trust your brain a lot. I want you to think very hard because this is something that not a statistic that I have in front of me, but it is something that I noticed. Think very, very carefully. Offensive minded coaches that become head coaches, and then defensive minded coaches that become head coaches. Who struggles? Who struggles in regards of the balance of their squad more? Is it the defensive minded coaches or is it the offensive minded coaches? Because when you look at offensive minded coaches that become head coaches, that offense does not stutter. Yes, mama.
Now,
That offense does not. It doesn't fluster. Let's think
now
about it now.
I give you that.
Kyle Shanahan, Michael Fleur, all these guys that were offensive minds that end up. Hold on, baby. Um that end up being head coaches. Their offensive units do not stutter more so than the defensive coaches.
So
So
Cleveland,
because of that, in my mind, I'm looking at it as well. If you are an offensive minded coach, your offense shouldn't struggle. You're implementing that system in. Like defenses are all reaction based. You are implementing a strong offense. You had all those pieces in Atlanta. You should not struggle. I would say it was more so Derrick Henry covering him because you had a 6'3", 200 and almost 50-pound running back that ran a 4.5, 4.4 and will hurt people. Covers a lot of mistakes that you got.
I think Derrick Henry did have a back problem when Arthur Smith was there.
That's,
He
that's what
and he
that's what
probably
I'm
did.
saying.
He probably
had a
did.
back problem because he was carrying him. Yeah. So, but yeah, I agree with Tristan. Arthur Smith, until proven otherwise, is a bum of a coach. I think your daughter has something to say about that, Tristan, because she was
You,
very
she,
she was very
she always
opinionated.
has something to say.
She
She
was
always has
very
something to say about
very
it.
very opinionated in that last segment. But no,
She took
Daddy.
notes.
Yeah, so that's why I was over here
She took
cracking up.
notes.
But but yeah,
She's very
until proven
opinionated.
otherwise, Arthur Smith is kind of on that bum range of as a coordinator. He's gonna have to. I'm gonna tell you now, if he can do something with this Pittsburgh Steelers offense, then hey, hats off to him. With these quarterbacks, I'm just gonna now you got the weapons around you. They got a decent offensive line. Defense is good. But if he can do something where we're going, oh, look at Pittsburgh's offense, then I'm gonna back off what I said. But as of right now, until further notice, ain't nobody checking for Arthur Smith. Put it like that.
Well,
So
if I'm off for Smith, I would go back to because like I said, Tennessee he had Derrick Henry and he has like two running backs. Well, I'm gonna say two and a half because Cordell Patterson is a Swiss Army knife, but I would definitely be running the ball with Harris. I think Warren was a rookie last year, and now you got Cordell Patterson, who's a veteran, who's gonna take some of those carries off. That's what I would do. And you can line up Cordell Patterson all over the formation and get him the football and try to get him in space with a lot of misdirections and stuff. That's what I would do. And then play action off of that.
but is he smart enough to do that?
Well, hey, listen.
Herein lies the question.
What I just say, week one is right around the corner. We're about to find all this information out.
Yeah. So the Washington Commanders traded Jahan Dotson. Uh I forgot where did he wind up at?
To Philadelphia and replaced
Philadelphia,
him with Noah Brown today.
and replaced him with Noah Brown. Now, I'm going to defer to Tristan on this one because Tristan is our resident Commanders fan. He knows more on the topic. I know I have my thoughts about that move, and I don't know whether we going to align on it, but I'm always going to defer. If it's any topics dealing with the Commanders, I'm going to defer to Tristan. Just like when there's anything dealing with the Niners, y'all defer to me. I'm gonna let him have his spill on that, and then I'm gonna see where I'm gonna be like I concur, or I'm gonna be like, well, so Tristan, Tell us what you think about that move.
For me, I think. Well, first off, because I was talking about this to Brandon in the room in the green room. I was like, I didn't understand why, if you had the second pick in the waivers, why weren't you a little more aggressive to go after some of these other receivers? Now, Noah Brown, I don't think is a bad player.
I don't.
No,
I think
I don't either.
I think I think it was all about the numbers game because you had Stephon Diggs, you had Tank Dell, you had all these wide receivers. Noah was not going to get any touches.
Right.
He's going to get more opportunities here with the Commanders. And again, I don't think he's a bad receiver. I think he's someone that I could be comfortable with. I'd be okay with him being the number two behind Terry McLaurin or being the number three if Diamond Brown continues because he's had a strong camp and preseason. If he continues and he ends up being number two, and then and Noah Brown being number three, like that intertwining like that, I'm cool with
I'm,
it. And
I'm with you so
I'm,
far.
I'm I'm good with that. I think, and I was telling this to Brandon. Like I said, as a fan, you're like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? What I'm thinking more so, they're like, you be on a rookie deal for really building this from the ground up. Like this is like total, total rebuild from office down. So we're real building the team. We sprinkled a little bit of veterans here and there to kind of build the culture, as Dan Quinn always says, building the culture. So we sprinkled some veterans. It's a young squad. Want to be able to build them up and prepare for the future, whereas not trying to put all the eggs in one basket for this season. So because of that, I'm cool with the move they made. I'm not expecting us to be like pro beaters or anything. Is I'm like 7 wins somewhere around there. I think is fair. So I'm cool with what they did. I like I said, I like Noah Brown, strong hand, and everything like that. I'm cool with that,
and he's a good blocking receiver too.
and a good bottom receiver.
So my question is, and I after that spill, I kind of agree with you on a lot of those things, but on the other side of that, we're looking at you shipping off the
Jahan Dawson.
Jahan Dotson to the Philadelphia Eagles, and in
That really
your
don't bother me.
that doesn't bother you, okay? Because from my point of view, it's like it doesn't bother me long term because of what we talked about this a lot off the air this week when it
Mm-hmm.
happened. I feel like the Commanders won that trade.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
here's why. And let me lay it down why. And you guys, chime in when I'm done if I leave out anything. Who is first of all, wait a minute. What Brandon, because this is your category. What did they get for Jahan Dotson? I'm gonna start right there.
So hold on, let me go back and look at it because see with Jahan Dawson. Now, also what I said too when it happened was how much of a priority is Jahan Dawson in Philadelphia?
Wait,
Because
wait, 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 wait,
okay,
wait.
give me a second.
Because I'm in the middle of my thing. I'm just
Go ahead.
basically I just need to know what did if you can remember Tristan, what did Washington get for Jahan
I'm
Dotson?
trying to. Oh, here we go. All right.
It was
The Eagle,
a
the
seven,
Eagles.
was it fifth, a third, or something like that.
They got a fifth and something else, didn't they?
So okay. So
Yeah.
this. Okay, here we go. The Eagles agreed to terms on a trade with the Commanders for wide receiver Jahan Dawson and a fifth round pick. So Jahan Dawson and a fifth
Okay.
went to Philadelphia,
Okay.
but a third and two sevenths came back to Washington.
Third and 2000. Right.
So they got a third
And two
and
sevens
and two sevenths
for
Washington.
Washington.
Okay.
Which means that would turn to the six.
Now wait now. So now this is where I'm going. Feel me where I'm going here. Tristan, who's the new GM of the Washington Commanders?
Adam Peters,
Adam Peters. Where was Adam Peters before?
San Francisco.
He was the assistant GM in San Francisco, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
here's what a lot of people don't know. Adam Peters was responsible for just about almost every pick during the John Lynch regime after the third round for the 49ers. And I'm going to give you some notable people that were late day two and day three picks. Fred Warner was a third rounder.
Sure was.
George Kittle was a fifth rounder.
Brock
Yeah,
Purdy was a seventh rounder.
Brock Purdy was a seventh rounder. Elijah Mitchell was a sixth rounder. Talanoa Hufanga was a sixth rounder. A lot of people don't know that Adam Peters was responsible for those picks. Now, they have a third and
And
two
two sevens.
Hello.
Which should really give Washington a chance to really build their team.
That's
And
that's
shuffle around.
that's where I'm going. Now, that's what Washington get. You got a GM that know how to find gems late in the draft. The guys that
Late in the draft.
wind up being either really strong contributors or maybe even all pros. Okay.
Which also, and they also will not hurt the salary cap because of
And it
where they
won't
are.
because of where they are, they're gonna be on their rookie deals, and their rookie deals are gonna be cheap. I'm
Yeah.
talking about Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Dollar General cheap. Okay.
That's why San Francisco has had this window with this roster.
Exactly. So now let's look at the other side. Jahan Dotson goes to the Philadelphia Eagles in a loaded wide receiver room. And at best, he's going to be the third option. At best.
I think 4. Yeah.
I'm just wishful thinking.
Well, so who's number 3 then? T.
Because you have AJ Brown, you have
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith, and then that other boy that they call him the 3 Batmans. I forgot the other boy name, but he's the third. And he's solid. Ain't nothing slacking with him. I just can't remember his name right now.
So if let's say he comes and beats that third guy, at best, because I really think highly of Jahan Dotson's ability. So I'm just wishful thinking here. So in essence, the Commanders traded a guy who was going to be at best a third receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles, or maybe even lower, not even get looks, for 3 draft picks that's going to a GM that knows how to wheel and deal and find those gems late in the draft. So basically, in essence, and Washington know they not finna contend for a Super Bowl this year. They know that.
This is a long haul build.
So they know they playing the long game. For a team, let's say Washington was a contender right now, that wouldn't be a good those picks, no. Because you need all your players so you can win right now. But they're not trying to win right now. They trying to set up for they loading up for down the road. So now you got a GM who knows how to find late round draft picks, and he has 3 of them, along with the ones that already belong to them. And you can build a team for cheap. Washington won that trade.
Not to mention, and like I said, and I'm about to add more I'm about to add more stake to what you just said. Jahan Johnson, as like I said, he's not going to be much of a priority player in that offense because Jalen Hurts is a quarterback, Saquon Barkley's a running back, you got Dallas Goedert at tight end, and you got those other 2 receivers, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. And if Tristan talking about some third receiver who's supposed to be that Batman or whatever he's supposed to be, like
They call him the 3 Batmans.
Jahan Dawson's not going to get a whole lot of anything coming the football is not going to come his direction that much. It's not. He might get 2, 3 targets a game, maybe, which means he's going to take advantage of those one-on-one matchups and catch every single football pass that come his direction.
So
that's why I wasn't upset. You saw people that was like, "How can we trade?" I said, "Listen, the roster hasn't panned that Ron Rivera drafted. It ain't worked." So I think and for all people that are like Commanders fans and all that, I think what's happening is that we have so much residue from the old regime that this is like PTSD. We just feel like, oh, same old Commanders making dumb mistakes. No. These guys are literally tearing this down and saying we're going to build this from scratch. We almost think of it like it's an expansion team almost. Like we starting from Ground zero.
It's almost like turning down an old house and completely rebuilding it.
I mean, to the studs
Yeah, yeah,
and rebuilding this thing. Like that's
yes.
what they're doing. So because of that, Washington fans have to be patient. Have to be patient because this is a long haul build. This is not something that's going to be for right now. So just be patient in the decisions. Be patient in the decisions that you're making because the biggest thing was trying to get a franchise QB. Okay, so we're hoping Jaden Daniels is that, and for how he's looks like that's the case. Good. Okay, we still got to build this offensive line. That's going to take some time. Probably going to have to build through the draft. It's hard to build offensive line through free agency.
You ain't
Going to have to
lying.
build through the draft, right? Terry McLaurin's our number one, but he's been longer than two. So now we got to build the wide receiver core. We got running backs. We got all this stuff. We got all these things set up, but we got to build it for the future. 2 years down the line, now we can be like, all right, now we should be looking at contending in the conference now if all goes well. So just be patient. But Jahan Dotson, and I want him to do well. I have no hate for Jahan. It just didn't work for this regime. That's all. It just didn't work for this regime. But
And
I hope he flourishes.
and it was a lot of failed first round picks, like you said, under Ron Rivera. The only ones that really was successful recently was Payne and Allen.
Yeah. And those were like no brainers.
Yeah,
Everybody that watched him at Alabama was like, how you can't pass up that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And listen, speaking of which, for failed first round, listen, Montez, listen, man, you're in Chicago now. Okay, you're in Chicago. I shouldn't be looking on Twitter every other day and seeing you still talking about your experience with Washington. You are, I mean, we live in rent free in your mind. You're in Chicago now. Move forward. We have moved forward from you. You move forward from us. Thank you. That's all. That's all I wanted. I just want to
hey,
make
I
that
feel
clear.
I feel you on that one, man. I feel you. He need to move
Yeah.
on.
I saw something you talking about it today. I'm like, bro, you gone. You done. You good. You got your money. You're in Chicago. You good. Just what Will Smith say? Keep your name out.
Yeah, maybe he didn't want to leave.
You
Well,
probably didn't.
I'll tell you
But
what.
hey,
We got a couple quarterbacks who did leave their teams as they were traded. We can package this together.
okay,
Um,
segue.
Malik
See what you did there.
Willis. Malik Willis got traded from Tennessee to the
Thank
Green
God.
Bay Packers, and then Taylor Heineke today, within the last 2 hours, got traded
Figured that
uh
was gonna happen.
from the Atlanta Falcons to the LA Chargers. So let's talk
Figured that was
about
gonna
both
happen.
these trades, man. Who want to start first?
I'm so happy for Malik Willis. Fresh start and going back to quarterback country. So glad. I think he would have been fine. I think if he was developed properly. Mike Vrabel ain't know what to do with him at
Nope.
all. And nobody on that coaching staff knew what to do with him at all. Because he was a very dynamic, but he was just very raw.
And from a small
That
school.
sounds right. So who does that sound like? Oh, it sounds like the quarterback of the team that he just got traded to, Jordan Love. Very dynamic, real raw. What did they do? Groom him. Let him sit and groom him properly. Develop him properly. And now he seems like he might potentially be the next Green Bay great at the QB position. So for Malik Willis to go over there to be able to learn, awesome. Will he get an opportunity to be a starting quarterback somewhere in the league? Don't know. But I'm just glad he's out of Tennessee. I just feel like they drafted him and from day one they just put him in the cupboard and just left him there.
I really feel like Tennessee doesn't know how to develop quarterbacks, and they haven't
At
had
all.
since the late great Steve McNair.
And they didn't develop him. He could have been much, much better than what he was. And he was a co-MVP.
He was with
Jeff Fisher.
I was just going to say he was with Tristan's favorite head
Trash
coach of
Jeff
all
Fisher.
time, Jeff Fisher,
Trash
man.
Jeff Fisher. Trash.
And I'm sorry, I would be remiss if I left off Vince Young, but he was mismanaged. Just basically,
severely.
Yeah,
Jeff
so
Fisher as well.
that was the last
Listen,
time they had
listen,
a quarterback
listen.
of that
I
caliber.
don't even mean to dwell on this because of course, we're going to talk about all this stuff. But every time somebody mentions Vince Young, I get upset because I'm like, if you are a football period and a football fan, and you watched this boy play in Texas, you knew he should have had a bomb NFL career. Maybe not and all that, but that boy should have had a Pro Bowls, couple All Pros. You knew he should have had a decent NFL career. Jeff Fisher. That's just it. Jeff Fisher.
And look, and neither quarterback truly had, too many wide receivers to even help him. I mean, Derek Mason came out of nowhere because Derek Mason, before he became what he was mainly a return man. So he developed on his own. And I don't even remember who Vince Young's wide receivers were. See?
Exactly.
You gave him nothing to work with.
And I like to say for those of y'all watching at home, if Brandon say he can't remember, because Brandon's the NFL encyclopedia. If Brandon can't remember, hey man,
I would literally have to go back and take a look at who their receivers were because
the other offensive threat that they had on that is popping to my mind without looking is Lendo White.
But Lendo White didn't do much of anything after he left Southern
Cal.
Cal.
What I'm saying, Brandon. That's what I'm saying. He's the only other name on that offensive unit that pops in my mind.
Oh, that's right. They did have Chris Johnson.
Yeah, when he was getting long in the tooth.
No. Chris Johnson was young. 2008, he was a rookie.
He was with Vince Young as a rookie?
Yep.
When was he CJ2K?
I'm looking at it now. Chris Johnson, number 28, from East Carolina. They were on the same team.
That's even worse for Jeff Fisher.
No, that really is though. That really is because you have Vince Young and Chris Johnson
and CJ2K
and two dynamic football players, and you did nothing with that, Jeff Fisher. Nothing. You did nothing with that. I want everybody. Hold on. I'm sorry. I know what we're supposed to be talking about. I want everybody to think about this. Jeff Fisher, head coach. You had a dynamic quarterback at Vince Young and a running back in Chris Johnson. Could you imagine what one of these offensive-minded coaches today would have done with that? Could you imagine what Andy Reid would have done with that? Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel, Sean McVay, Bobby Slowick, the dude up in Detroit. Could you imagine what those guys would have done with a Vince Young and Chris Johnson?
And all of his quarterbacks were high picks. Steve McNair, Vince Young, Sam Bradford, Jared, all of them high pick quarterbacks.
You know what I think, Brandon? Brandon, you know what I think?
Talk to me.
I think Tristan misses Jeff Fisher.
I do not. I just watched the documentary of the murder of Steve McNair. God rest his soul. And I saw Jeff Fisher on the screen. I almost cussed.
I'm trolling, man. I'm trolling, bro. I'm trolling.
Almost cussed.
But it's
like, amazing. He don't even deserve to talk.
But it's amazing how you mismanage two dynamic football players like that.
Crazy.
And I was looking at. I'm sorry. Let me go back real quick, and then we go.
Yeah, we gotta move forward because I can go about this all day with Jeff Fisher. You already know.
But the wide receivers, Chris Davis, I remember the name. Justin Gage, I remember the name. Justin McCarron, I remember the name. But like these guys were not they were not game changers.
They weren't anything special. No.
They weren't somebody you said, "Oh, I got a game plan for you."
Now that you mention those names, now it's coming back to my memory now. So it's like, yeah, those guys weren't special.
Kenny Brennan, 2009, Nate Washington. Y'all did nothing.
Yeah.
But let's move on because we will.
Yeah. That's something we got to talk about another time off air, guys. We got to talk about that.
Yeah.
But Taylor Heineke getting traded to the Chargers, not surprising. Michael Penix. I mean, I know what they're saying about Kirk Cousins. If Kirk Cousins struggles, the Atlanta put Michael Penix in the game.
Michael Penix is definitely going to end up being a starter eventually.
But let's talk about the other side of it. Taylor Heineke going to the LA to the Chargers. Now we know Justin Herbert's the starter. We know that. But look at who his coach is going to be.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great for him.
That's a great move for Taylor Heineke because
For sure.
he can develop and get better and probably parlay that into maybe a starting job somewhere else.
Yeah, because I mean he has starting experience.
Yeah. But you look at what Harbaugh did with Alex Smith. Everybody was calling Alex Smith a bust until Harbaugh got his hands on him. Next thing you know, the Alex Smith leading the team in the playoff games, winning playoff games. Goes to Kansas City and becomes a mentor for Pat Mahomes. So it's like we can see Taylor Heineke maybe go that Alex Smith route with the tutelage of Jim Harbaugh. So I was like, I was looking at the other side of it. I wasn't even looking at like, the whole thing with Penix in Atlanta. I'm like, okay, Heineke, because we know he has raw talent. He just kind of makes some bad decisions sometimes.
Well, also his arm is not that strong. He has, like Trisha used to say when he's in Washington, he has a gunslinger mentality, but the arm is not there to back it up.
Yeah, the gunslinger mentality with no guns.
Yeah, thank you.
But Alex Smith was the same way.
Can I say something about Alex Smith? And I don't know how you felt about him, Pando.
I liked him. I just felt like he got like a really raw deal.
I
really
because
he had 7 offensive coordinators in 7 years.
That's why I was going to mention. I'm like, yo, first of all,
his skill set was ahead of his time.
Huh?
His skill set was ahead of its time. They weren't playing the way he played at Utah.
Right,
they weren't ready for that.
Urban Meyer was his head coach. Urban Meyer was a spread.
He was a spread guy. Yeah.
And so the spread stuff didn't start until like 2012, whereas Alex Smith was drafted in 2005. So he's 7 years ahead of the spread game.
Yeah.
And so by the time the spread even gets around, like he been through a ton of OCs and this, that, and the third. And yeah, people call him a bust. I never called him a bust.
No, I wouldn't call him a bust.
I never called him a bust. I just to go through. Go ahead. No, because you've been through North Turner, Mike Martz. I can't name them all, but just Jimmy to go through Ray. All these different, Jimmy Ray, all these different offensive coordinators. That's a lot, and
and nobody knew how to run the spread. None of them.
And
they didn't take the time to go back and look at his tape to figure it out, or because I remember somebody said they were like, Urban never got a call from any of those guys to say, hey, how did you make this kid look like this?
Exactly.
And that's what was so baffling. I'm like, one of the things, because I remember the pre-draft with him. One of the things that was so decorated for him was how quickly he processed information. It was like he see it and it was there immediately, whether it was on the whiteboard or on the field.
He was smart. I knew he was smart.
So, and that's what made him be so accurate, because he understood what he was seeing. If you put that Alex Smith in today's NFL, we talk about him right there with Joe Burrow, with Patrick Mahomes, just out of the sheer intelligence and accuracy of him.
That young Alex Smith in his
that young one, yes.
In Mike McDaniel's offense,
exactly,
or Kyle Shanahan's offense, or Sean McVay's offense. Andy Reid's offense. We saw he played well in Andy Reid's offense when he had his leg was bad. Imagine what he could have done if he was, healthy. So I think he was. I agree with both of you. I think that he was ahead of his time, and I feel like he had a good career, but I think he maybe could have carved out a pseudo Hall of Fame career if
he really could have.
If he came along 7 years later.
Yeah, he was very talented. He was very, very talented, and that really has to be something. And I don't mean to go off in a tangent, but y'all know how I feel about quarterbacks. That really has to be something that's really needs to be thoroughly looked at and discussed. Is the amount of QBs that come out and they flame out, and we just bust. When really a lot of them, they were just drafted into bad situations, and they couldn't recover. They just couldn't recover from them.
Also, not only were they trapped in bad situations, they were born too early because, like I said, the Spurs game didn't start until roughly 2012 when you guys with the Shanahans and the rest of those guys, y'all had RG3 lined up in pistol formation. Y'all were just running zone stretch that way, and then
And that's why
Carolina
they went.
started doing it. Seattle was doing it, and then
And that's why they were. And that's why you saw RG3, Cam Newton, Russell
Russell
Wilson early
Wilson, and there was
on
one
was
more.
coming through. Um,
Who somebody else was look? Oh, San Francisco was lined up in pistol. That's who it was. San Francisco was
Kaepernick.
lined up in
oh
pistol.
yeah, with Kaepernick.
Yeah,
With
Kaepernick. So
Kaepernick.
yeah, so
And
they
then
were lined up.
you even saw the full. This is another one. You saw the full, and I know we're supposed to move forward. You saw the full potential of Michael Vick in that kind of offense.
That too.
With his, could you imagine Atlanta Michael Vick in that offense?
Lord help.
Oh God.
Lord help.
Lord help.
Like
Lord
that,
help.
like
Quarterback.
it's just they coaches are just so stubborn when it came to that, because they were like, they felt it was too gimmicky, it was too wide open, it was too exposed. But when you got these guys that are freakishly talented like that, you got to go with the times.
But see, and you're right, because you had GMs and head coaches who were so used to the 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" quarterbacks who can
That
stand in
couldn't
the
move
pocket and
and
throw the football
sling it.
and throw the football 95 yards down the football field. And it's
Right.
like, okay, that's fine, but Michael Vick, yes, Michael Vick can throw the football deep. Okay, but he's not that quarterback that just stands in the pocket. Randall Cunningham was the same way. Y'all want to talk Vince Young and Alex Smith and Michael Vick? Randall Cunningham was the same way. When Gruden became the offensive coordinator in Philadelphia, or the head coach, whatever he was in Philadelphia, and he took over, he wanted to run his West Coast offense and wanted Randall Cunningham to be that pocket passing quarterback. Like, no, that's not Randall Cunningham. That's not his game. He needs to move around. A lot of quarterbacks, including Steve Young, were born too early.
Mm-hmm.
They were born too early, and it's unfortunate. High school football was spread. College football was spread. NFL took a whole long time because all they wanted was a quarterback that could just drop back and throw the football 95 yards down the field.
Yeah, so yeah, I completely agree with that. It's a lot of Vince Young would have shined in league back when he was playing. Titus just said that it's like he would have shined in the league back when he was playing had he had the right coach. So because there were some offenses that were available then. He was just he had a horrible head coach. He was mismanaged. Head coach. He was incredibly mismanaged.
What if situations? What if situations?
Yeah. What if somebody actually gives Yannick Ngakoue a job, a position on that roster? Because I'm looking at some of these
how
names.
Is he still a free agent?
These are some of these free agents that are still available: Micah Hyde, Yannick Ngakoue, Terrell Edmonds, Xavier Howard. It's like, whoa, really?
Washington? You don't want to kick the tires on Xavier Howard?
Knowing what the secondary is like.
Did you not see the secondary during this preseason?
Yeah. And then there's some guys that aren't even names, but if you know them, then they're good players and they've been cut and they're just out there. And it's like, ooh, wait a minute. If you watch the film, you're like, hey, I can do something with this guy,
Exactly.
And a lot of times with your upper level teams, your Chiefs, your Niners, your Eagles, your Bengals, your Ravens, those guys like that, they're cutting guys who could probably start for other teams just because their rosters are so loaded that it's like, it's not, we didn't cut you because you suck. We don't have a room on the roster for you. It's a lot of guys like that are getting cut that are like that. And it's like, and if I'm one of these mid-tier teams or even one of the lower tier teams, I'm looking like, hey, do you know they just cut what you call him? He's available. And if I'm one of the lower tier teams, guess what? I'm first on the waiver wire. I'm one of the first teams on the waiver wire. Let's grab this guy over here.
I will say this. who was aggressive today when it came to claiming players? Carolina. Now,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Carolina claimed about 6 or 7 players because they knew that they had the number one priority, and I forgot all who they claimed, but they definitely claimed some players. This was almost like another draft for them. Now, I'm not saying Carolina's going to be a threat or anything, but they were at least aggressive today in bringing them some young
Hey,
talent.
man, you ain't got nowhere to go but up. So, like, shoot for the moon.
Shoot for the moon.
Carolina,
If I'm
shoot.
Carolina, because guess what? You need to know this season, not next season, not the season after. You need to know if Bryce Young is it
Yep,
this year.
you
You
do.
have to know. You have to know.
I wouldn't have let Terrence Marshall walk, but
Wouldn't have done that.
but other than that, the aggression that they've shown on the waiver wire is something that, if I'm a fan, I'm like, thank you. Let's go get some guys. And
That's what. Yeah.
let's see what they got, and then we can kind of shuffle out who we don't want, and we can kind of keep who we do and extend who we want, and get ready for the draft next year and free agency. Because I believe they got a nice bit of change moving into the new season, to the new off season next year.
Who you talking about?
Carolina.
Oh yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
should definitely have a lot of cap space because the only players that should be expensive in Carolina would be Derek Brown, the defensive tackle.
That's about it.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. Because they kind of offloaded their expenses, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because DJ Moore's in Chicago,
Right.
Adam
Christian
Thielen is
Jefferson in
not
San
on the roster.
Francisco.
Miles Sanders is no longer there.
Miles Sanders is on there. Burns is in New York.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, the only expensive
Louisville's
player they got is
Louisville's
Derek
with
Brown.
They should have a nice
Louisville is
chunk.
with a. They should have
Yeah,
a good chunk of change.
they should have a nice chunk of change to kind of play around in this free agent market
Mm-hmm.
moving forward. And then
Mm-hmm.
you didn't already grab some bargain basement guys that got cut from other teams that you ain't got to pay a whole lot. And guess what? Oh, won't be damned if they paying out. You paid nothing. You literally you've gotten some guys that could be major contributors that you had to pay nothing for because they were cut from somebody else's team. So that if I'm a Carolina fan, which I'm not, but if I'm a Carolina fan, I'm feeling pretty good about moving forward and what they've done during this cut period, this waiver period.
Oh yeah, of
I'm a
course, of
feel
course.
I'm a feel good if Bryce Young ends up looking like what he's supposed to look like.
What he's supposed to look
Even
like.
if it's a losing record.
Right.
If he looks like what he's supposed to look like, I would feel good moving forward about my
You see those flashes like, okay, I think we got something here. We just got to
Yeah.
put something around him.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
And
Yeah.
if there was ever a player that I could not evaluate their rookie year on, it was Bryce Young. When you watch Carolina football last year, I don't care who you had back there. There was nothing you could have done.
I've watched baby seals be clubbed, and it was more entertained than watching the Carolina Panthers last season.
He had no receivers. His receivers was
He had
Adam
no
Thielen,
he had
Adam
no
Thielen,
offensive line.
who's like 33 years old. You had what's that 6'3"? Oh, shoot, 6'3" receiver with full.
Funches.
Huh? No.
Funches?
No.
No, not way back there. No.
I'm talking about last year.
I don't even know their team like that.
The receiver, oh god, he was like 6'3", he ran like a 4.4 40 or 4.3
But he
40.
ain't had no offensive line. As soon as he hiked the ball, there was another colored jersey in the back.
That's another problem too. He had no offensive line, bad receivers.
Whether he was under the center or in shotgun, it
Yeah,
didn't matter. There was nothing you could do. There was nothing you could do.
It was like
That is somebody. He needed a redo. Rookie season.
Yeah, the D line was like every D line they played against Carolina was like, let's eat.
It was gonna be it was gonna be a career day.
Yeah. So, but it just really is one of the names that baffles me as we talk about these cuts. That somebody actually, I understand why he got cut. I think we all do, but there've been some talking heads that have said, well, he's a good option, and I'm like, how, Sway? Like, Kadarius Toney.
I wanted to talk about him next too.
Kadarius Toney. Do you know how many games they can? Now, Kansas City won the Super Bowl, so it really didn't hurt them. But
But so many games they lost
there were games that they lost because of
solely because of
drops
him.
by Kadarius Toney.
Solely because of him.
I'm like, bro.
Kadarius Toney's
hard to
hands
do.
are made out of bricks.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do when you can literally say you are the reason that we lost that game
There was
as a receiver.
But what gets me is that there are still people who have platforms that consider him a good receiver. And I'm like, when and how?
But not only that, he's supposed to have a market still. And I'm like, why does he have a market?
How?
Why does he have a market? And I said this in the green room right before we went live. I said, Kadarius Toney, Denzel Mims, James Bradbury, they need to go play in the UFL or they need to go play Canadian Football League.
You know, you forgot somebody else.
Who?
Eli Apple. We can't leave out Eli Apple.
I'm not even mentioning Eli Apple no more.
Because
I'm not even mentioning.
No episode of Just a Fan is complete unless we say something negative about Eli Apple.
I tell you what I will say. I know what I'm about to say about Eli Apple though is this:
trash, 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 damn, trash.
Yeah.
If you want me to say something about Eli Apple, that's what I'm gonna say about Eli Apple. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. Because first of all, hold on, stop. Wait.
How you know?
I've said this so many times on this show, and me and Steve have always had this conversation. When Eli Apple came out of college at Ohio State, first of all, I never knew who he was. Okay, when I saw the Giants draft him, and I looked at the highlight reel, I was like, this guy is getting called for DPI 24/7, defense pass interference, for people don't know. For DPI 24/7, 365, 366 leap year. I said, who is he going to cover? If you cannot cover in college, what makes you think you're going to cover in the NFL? And he has played for so many different teams in the NFL, and he kept getting opportunities after opportunities after opportunities. I'm like, why in the world? Why? Now I saw he's a free agent. He hasn't signed with nobody. Hopefully, people have now come to the conclusion that he's no longer worth bringing onto the roster. Okay, but you talking about UFL Canadian Football League? You know where Eli Apple need to go? I tell you what, this is where Eli Apple needs to go. He needs to go and work either at the post office.
I can't stand you.
UPS.
I can't stand you.
FedEx, grocery store, etc., etc. Go work in the library.
I don't want him delivering my packages.
Go work in the library. Go do something else. You're not a football player. You can't cover. You can't. What? No. So forget. But anyway, going back to Kadarius Toney, and he got replaced by Juju Smith-Schuster.
Which the scary part about that is that's an upgrade.
Yeah. Well,
that's frightening. The fact, Juju, let me tell you something. If Juju Smith-Schuster at this point in his career coming to the team to replace you is an upgrade, that says a whole lot about you. Titus still talking about Eli Apple. But yeah, like if let me tell you something. Juju TikTok boy Smith-Schuster. Okay? If him coming to replace you is an upgrade, that's saying a whole lot about you.
And he should never been drafted in the first round because they're talking about, well, he did something in Florida. Did what in Florida? That was Kyle Pitts' team in Florida. Talking about Kadarius Toney. Man, shoot. Kadarius Toney no longer needs to be. That's right. Tell him.
She agree. He tried.
Kadarius Toney should never been. Kadarius Toney need to go to Canadian Football League or go to the UFL That's what he needs to do. James, hey, guess what? I'm glad Philadelphia kept James Bradbury. We can toast him too.
I think everybody in the NFC is glad James Bradbury is still in Philadelphia.
Yeah, he toast. Yeah, he toast too.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's pretty.
Oh, and also speaking of Philadelphia, real quick, N'Kobe Dean's gonna be injury prone. N'Kobe Dean's gonna start over Devin White. So Tampa Bay's still looking smart for getting rid of Devin White and keeping the old guy.
Which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy. Like, Devin, what's happening with your life, bro?
He has declined.
He was supposed to be like the premier linebacker for years to come in the league.
Declined.
I agree. And something I don't know. It just.
And those Eagles fans on Twitter, oh, we got Devin White. I'm like, okay. There's a reason why Tampa Bay kept the old
let him go
over the young guy.
You gotta pick. See, this is the thing. This is the thing where like fans, how fans be casual. They say like fans that are casual. You gotta pay attention when teams release certain players or trade them, and you gotta pay attention to why they did it. Same thing with Shaq. Same thing with Shaq. Everybody, the Eagles did the same thing. Oh, we got Shaq. We got Shaq from Indianapolis. Why would they let go of their all-pro middle linebacker?
Thank you.
Why would they pay attention? There has to be something wrong. Something is off. Like you're not going to let go. You're not going to let go of somebody that was an all-pro and a multi-Pro Bowler for you, looking like he was on a Hall of Fame trajectory as a defensive player, and just cut him loose.
From what I understand, he was declining the last 2 or 3 years in Tampa Bay.
He was you're talking about for Devin White. Yeah, for Devin White, something was going on with him. I think it was something like he was like going through some personal stuff, and then he just wasn't as focused. And I don't. It's sad to see it, but it looked like he didn't pay attention to really be a student of the game per se. Like he really relied on his physical tools. And
you can't do that middle linebacker. You can't do that middle linebacker. You cannot know. And Trisha, you're a fan of London Fletcher. Eric, you've had middle linebackers come through there and still have middle linebackers. Yeah. Everybody knows you need a mental processor at middle linebacker, someone who communicates like crazy.
Because your smarts can override the athletic ability. If you're smart and instinctive, you don't have to be as talented physically. If you're smart enough.
You need just enough to be able to get there, but that mindset will get you there so much faster.
Yeah. And then you combine the physical ability with the smarts. Now you got an all pro.
Oh, you got something dangerous.
Yeah, you got an all pro.
You got something dangerous.
That's an all pro.
Yeah. Oh God.
You got a Roquan Smith. You got a Fred Warner. You got just talking about right now in this era. But you go back, you got a Ray Lewis.
You got Patrick Willis.
You got a Patrick Willis. Guys like that. So
now, Eric James, I hear what you're saying. That man can't stay healthy.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
I don't think he's gonna get paid because he can't stay healthy. Because they're gonna look at when it comes time to nenegotiate, they're gonna be like, "Hey man, you missed this many games." Yeah, Sam Mills,
Mills,
Phil Mouse.
Phil Mouse.
Yeah, but yeah, when it's time to sit down and negotiate, because I love talking about contracts and everything like that. When they sit down and negotiate with this guy, they're gonna be like, "Hey man, you missed this many games in at this much time, and well, this is the offer we have for you, and if you want anything more than that, lots of luck." That's what they're gonna do. If you have a history of being injured all the time, teams are not willing to invest that much, or they'll give you this big contract, but there'll be like dozens of injury clauses in your contract where you're not going to get paid. So, and I like N'Kobe Dean when he came out of Georgia, but like you got to show that you can stay on the field. Your best ability is your availability. Hey, come on now, come on.
Yeah, N'Kobe Dean, and the Philadelphia Bulldogs. Anyway, well, I mean, but a lot of teams have tried doing that stuff where they try to sit here and say, well, let me get a lot of these guys from the same school, and we're gonna be just as good. Or Dallas did it a long time ago. Bring a lot of those Miami guys in, and that didn't work out. Now Jimmy Johnson steered the ship and changed all that and got to the Super Bowl, but that was a long time ago. Washington tried it with some Alabama players, and I don't know. I forgot what happened with Reuben Foster, but Landon Collins didn't work out in Washington.
But do you remember this? You remember the Steve Spurrier? Remember the Steve Spurrier experiment?
You said what, Trisha?
Don't remind me of that.
Steve Spurrier with the Florida Gators.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me.
Steve Spurrier experiment.
Washington Gators, baby.
Don't remind me. Because he ruined Patrick Ramsey. Patrick Ramsey actually could have been decent.
As a Cowboys fan, I agree with you.
Yeah, Patrick Ramsey should have been good.
Yeah, he
should have. Reuben Foster he had a bad knee injury in the first camp with us, and it just never. He never
bounced back, yo. He never bounced back. So. We are nearing the end of our time for tonight's show, and it was a great show. Hey y'all, we getting into the next time we speak, the next time you see us on the air, it's gonna be the day before the first NFL regular season game. We down to 53 now, and that's what it is. And we didn't get a chance to cover it this show, but we talked about it. I guess we can do it next show. This is our next show is going to be the renege show. If we want to renege on our picks, because we made our picks months ago.
I like that.
What I'm going to do, because Pando 316 keep receipts.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
Who did I choose to pick to win the NFC South?
We're going to say that for the next show, man.
No. Who did I pick? Tell me.
For the NFC South, you picked the Saints.
I chose who?
The Saints.
Ooh, you guys, will I choose the Saints again to win the NFC South next week? Find out next week.
Stay tuned. So we're gonna do our renege show. Hopefully it'll be all four of us, because all four of us made our picks, and we're gonna go division by division real quick. I'm gonna read the picks, and we're going to each talk about whether we're going to change our picks or whether or not we're going to stick with what we got. So this next week is going to be the renege show. So that's going to be the title, B. When you put it up there, put the renege show. The pick renege show. And then also, in that same show, because we going into week 1, we bring it back another segment. It's a segment that I love, because I'm not always right, but I'm more right than I'm wrong. Pando's picks. Along with my Stone Cold locks. So we're bringing that back, because that'll be the next show will be the first show before the regular season starts. So we getting in the just like these teams are getting ready. We're getting ready to go into regular season action, baby. And it's about to get live. So we finna run it like we always run it. And we're gonna talk about who's trash. We're gonna have the bruh moments after the first week, because somebody finna do something stupid. That's the bruh moment, because somebody is going to either be a coach, an official, a player. Somebody going to do something stupid in week 1, and we're going to talk about it. So make sure all our regulars go ahead and tell a friend. Let them go ahead and subscribe. Hit that like button, because we're trying to build our viewership up, especially during the regular season. And we love to talk about football, because you're just fans and we just fans. Brandon, tell them about the platforms.
All right. So we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Okay, we're not live on Twitter anymore, because we're not giving certain people more money. Okay, they get more money off of cars, and those cars are catching on fire like crazy, and they being recalled. Anyway,
no politics, Brandon. No politics.
There's not politics. There's not politics. I didn't say anything about Democrat Republicans.
Yeah.
Did I say anything about Democrat Republicans? No, I did not.
No, it's just bad business.
I just said something about just vehicles. That's all I said.
Them ugly ass trucks.
Right, man, what? Anyway.
I'm from Texas. I drive F-150. That's an ugly ass truck that he got. So I'm gonna stop right there.
Anyway, Anyway, you can also follow us on Facebook. Now you can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on IG. You can also follow us on TikTok. Okay. You can also listen to us on Apple and Spotify podcasts. Now Google Podcast is supposed to be gone, so hopefully it is gone or whatever. I don't care. Don't bother me. Anyway, down below, panel 316, the good guy with the black hat, is just 53 now. That's what it is. That direction, Trish TV, the quarterback of the show. I'm Brandon Williams, Coach Williams, the NFL Encyclopedia. Ladies and gentlemen, good night. And I hope you all enjoyed our show. And we will see you next week. Peace.
Tristan misses Jeff Fisher.
I sure don't.